Hey, what is up, guys? Flex Media here, bringing you yet another video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. And here we are working on these missions, just kind of chipping them away one by one. Now, I do believe I beat this, or I recorded this before the missions actually came out. So as you can tell, we are on, well, maybe you can't, but based on our leader, we are doing the Realm of Gods sort of category here, right? So there are a ton of units you can use. I just kind of went with, units that I thought would link well together. I mean, per the usual, right? And then just, units I wanted to use. So there we go. For instance, Blue Gogeta is a unit that isn't necessarily, designed for the Legendary Goku event. I know I've been talking about that a lot, about units being, quote, designed for this event. But he's by no means designed for it, but he is very, very good. So I think I'd like to start with Blue Gogeta, kind of just going over the units here real quick. So, Blue Gogeta, man. So, before he transforms, he's just a pretty basic unit. He's like attack and defense 100%. He does have a medium chance of evading enemy attack, obviously including their super attack. And he greatly raises his attack on super. So, I mean, if you're getting, if you're smart, you gave him full additional because he is super effective against all types. So that's a really, really nice part of his card. And just like all Gogeta cards, that's super effective against all types. But when this boy transforms, oh boy, he's on just another level. He really is one of the very tippy top TURs in the game. So Gogeta, when he transforms, he actually greatly raises attack for 3 turns, which is really cool. So again, if you gave him max additional, more than likely, after 3 turns, he'll get at least 1 additional attack. So his attack stat is going to be, redonkulous, right? He already has a high attack stat as is. But that's not even the best part of his card. That's just, that's an afterthought. He has guaranteed crits. So, that'll never ever be bad. That's why he's always going to be relevant, man. A guaranteed crit is insane. I mean, if you really think about that, I can't think of another unit in the game. If I think of one, maybe I'll put a text box, but there's not another unit in the game that gets a guaranteed crit on their super attack. I mean, and on normals as well, he gets guaranteed crits. And then he has a 50% chance to dodge attacks, obviously up until in UI Goku. So what you find is that no, he is not designed. There he is at 1.74 million, not too bad. Again, super effective against all types. That's very, very nice. So look at that damage. That's the coolest part about Gogeta, even before he transforms. So as I was saying though, he's not exactly, quote, designed in the sense that he stacks defense, because he doesn't do that. He just overall has a really, really nice defensive stat, and I believe he gets, is it 130% attack and defense? And with those guaranteed crits, man, he just tears up this event, dude. It's pretty crazy. I mean, even in UI, I mean, assuming he's not dodging every single one of Blue Gogeta's attacks, he's going to be obviously sitting real pretty. So he's not made for the event in the conventional sense of stacking defense, but, as it turns out, the design of his card, he actually does quite well in the event. Even when he can't dodge, you do have to protect him a little bit against int UI. But that's it, man. That's really it. He's quite stout otherwise, and then I guess maybe a little bit during Tech God Goku, but again, he's got that 50% chance to dodge. So, anyway, we do have a lot more of his team to go over. So you just saw Tech Vegito Blue do almost 6 million damage. So Tech Vegito Blue, he's a very, very interesting card. So just to start out with, on his super attack, he infinitely stacks attack and defense. And this is, of course, relevant to this event, right? So we need lots and lots of defense, usually. You know what I mean? And again, unless you're Vegito Blue and you have built-in dodging, or, you know, your Tech Caulifla or whatever. You definitely need defense in this event, or you're not really going to survive, or you're going to have to severely protect the unit. So he gets defense on Super, but that's it. So there's no defense in his passive. So, but his passive skill, we got to kind of break it down here. So he has a great chance to launch up to 2 additional super attacks, and those both have medium chances of becoming super attacks. So what does this mean? So, well, if you watch my Fizz Vegito Blue video yesterday, I did explain it, but, you know, if you guys don't know by now, so he can potentially get up to 4 super attacks. So he can get his original super attack, and then he can get the 2 additional supers, or the 2 additional attacks have a medium chance to become supers, and then, of course, his hidden potential system. And every single time that he attacks, he then sort of initiates the hidden potential system. So he attacks the first time. Let's just say you have, you know, just for sake of argument, you have 10 additional. So that's a 20% chance. So on the first attack, you have a 20% chance to proc it. On the second attack, you have a 20% chance to proc it. On the third attack, you have a 20% chance to proc it. So you have a pretty good chance in procking his hidden potential. So oftentimes you're going to see, and in this run as well, you're going to see him do lots and lots of additional attacks. So the one thing that I would definitely say about his card is that he was almost doing too much damage, which is insane, right? But basically, like, it wasn't allowing my other units to stack up their attack and defense. So we, you know, by the time we get to this point, so we're at STR UI Goku, you know, our defense for the other units aren't exactly where we want them to be, but, you know, in the end, obviously, we get the dub. It wasn't a big deal. But what also makes him mega uber powerful is he gets an additional attack plus 15% every time he attacks, and that is up to 150%. So after 10 attacks, he now has 150% attack on, you know, through his passive, and then whatever he stacked through his super attacks. And then he's going to continue to just stack and stack and stack, and then hopefully by the time you get to UI, he's got enough defense to at least be, you know, to be able to manage it, you know, with the protection of items. I mean, if you get super, super lucky and you're getting 4 supers every single time he comes up to bat, then yeah, you could probably be all right without items. You know, if you get up into the 200,000, 250,000 range, he's going to be fine defensively. So you would only have to protect. He would only take damage on supers, essentially. So we're not able to get that in this one. But anyway, we get the W, and it proved to be enough. And he just did so much damage. What ended up happening is he kept getting a ton of additional attacks, but they were all additional normal attacks. So let's check it out here. So he gets 1 attack here at 2.58 million. And then what does he get? So additional normal for 1.1, additional normal 1.1, additional normal 1.1. A perfect example of what I'm saying. So he was doing so much damage without stacking defense that, you know, his defense didn't really get up to like super, super high levels. Although you could see that very easily it could if we just got a little tiny bit more luck, right? So, but anyway, guys, Tech Vegito Blue, there's a reason why everyone loves him. He just does such insane, crazy fucking damage. So especially if I would definitely recommend prioritizing additionals. Or let's say you're like me and you've already built him with a high amount of crit. I prioritized crit. Again, this wasn't my account, so but mine has prioritized crit. So what I'm gonna probably do during the 5th year anniversary on Global is give him a gold equipment item, of course if I can find one, that gives additional. So I think that that's probably the route I'm gonna go, and just try to go max additional through the equipment system. I think that's probably the best route at this point, unless I pull a zillion copies and I can redo his potential system, because I'm not spending stones on that. But anyway, guys, let's kind of go over the rest of the team. We do have a few more units to go over. So these awakenings, I've talked about 100 times. More than likely, you will see them again. There is a lot of crossover between the teams. So like this rotation right here, this is all movie heroes. So when I do the movie hero stage, you could very well see these 3 units again. But we can kind of go over these cards just kind of as a tandem at once. There's that guaranteed crit, 1.9 million. Jeez, dude. That's so crazy. Sorry. But these newest awakenings, it's the blue Vegeta and the blue Goku from the Resurrection F, I guess technically movie, right? Because they are on the movie heroes team. So they both do the same thing. So obviously when I'm talking about the orb changing, the Fizz Goku is going to change to Fizz Key Spheres. And the Tech Vegeta, of course, is going to change to Tech Key Spheres. So just obviously keep that in mind. But these units, so they stack attack and defense on super attack. So again, prioritizing additionals, probably a good idea. But you also want to make sure they have some crit as well. So on top of that, they are also nukers. So they're going to get 20% per non-same type orb attack and defense. And then they're going to get 20%, or I'm sorry, and then they're going to get 30% attack and defense per same type orb. And again, they change orbs. So, running them as a rotation can sometimes be a hindrance, but actually in this particular run, it turned out not to be too big of a deal. We got, I guess, pretty lucky with orbs. So like you can see right here, we just got Vegeta. I'm fully confident leaving him in that first slot. He's got 280 some thousand defense. And again, that can get much, much, much higher, but Tech Vegito Blue is doing so much goddamn damage. I couldn't stack up these units, but again, they're so powerful it didn't really matter because they're getting attack and defense on orbs. So that was quite a bit of damage there, but now we're good for the rest of the turn. I knew that even if we took a super attack, we'd be fine, which, we were. So we're going to probably take double digits here, even though we only got a few orbs. So, am I right? Yes. So, but guys, I can't stress enough the power of 30% per orb is insane. If you get them their same type orbs, which is obviously what you're going to try and do, the power of that, and then the monstrous heal that they get because their defense is so high when they collect the orbs. It really becomes quite a viable method of healing, especially down the stretch after you've stacked up for a while. So both of these units, if you've just had them sitting in your box kind of collecting dust, obviously I imagine at this point you've awakened them, but if you haven't had much of a chance to use them yet, go use them, man, because they are so damn good. And they're good in Super Battle Road. They're good in obviously in this event. They're going to be good in Battlefield. I mean, they are subcategory leads. So Vegeta, he leads the Worthy Rivals category at 120% in Key 3. And then the Goku, he leads the Bond of Master and Disciple at Key 3, Attack 120. So if you didn't pull either of those units, so the Piccolo and the Gohan respectively, then there you go. You've got some sub leads. You could even do some shenanigans in Battlefield. So for instance, Jiren's coming up here quite soon. Maybe today, actually, the time of this recording. He might be coming. So, or maybe tomorrow. So it's a good idea to keep a secondary team just in case you lose to Jiren, because he is quite tough. I can't wait. I've been waiting for this for a long time. My JP account isn't quite, well, not quite. It's not nearly as stacked as my global account. So, I haven't even really been able to get to Jiren. I guess if I awakened more of my units, I probably could, but I'm usually doing shit on global. It's hard to maintain both games. There's just always so much to be done. If you're not grinding Zenny, or grinding rank or grinding medals. You know, it's one thing after another, right? So here's another situation where we are completely fine on orbs, and I'm completely confident leaving Vegeta in that first slot. And look at that healing. I mean, he just healed up. Was that like 30k he just healed up? You know, and then here's another unit that I think oftentimes gets overlooked is UI Goku, MUI Goku. So the one thing that you do have to keep in mind is at the end. So we're talking about my MUI, not the one we're up against, right? So, you know, the MUI that's on our team. So yes, it is a pain in the ass that he cannot dodge in the last phase. But up until the last phase, he's very good. You know, especially, I mean, obviously, especially if you get his dodges to activate. Now, okay, and that was unfortunate. So that's the problem right there. So we have an item active right there, and he's taking 52k. So the thing with MUI, let's start off with UI Omen first. I suppose there's not a ton to cover, other than that he raises attack on super and attack and defense 100%. And then he transforms when his HP is 50% or below. So, you know, like I said, not much to cover there, right? So when he transforms, he gets Key 3 and attack 150. 150% attack is a lot, you know, and he's got a pretty high attack stat as is. It's over 16k. I think it's, you know, 16,500-ish. So his attack stat's very high. And that 150% attack is no joke. So he can do some serious damage. And then he also does disable guard. So that's relevant against Fizz-type enemies. Wow, 3.25 million is not too shabby. Crit? No crit. So anyway, guys. So the fault of his card is that he's got a great chance to dodge. And you guys will notice that it's usually either sink or swim with him. He seems to either dodge every single attack or he seems to take every single attack. I mean, if you guys have ever used him, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Just like Candy Vegito, man. He's like the dodge king, except when he isn't. And he takes 50k on normals, you know. So it's like him not having a defensive buff, it's just pretty clear to me that we are ready for either a new transforming UI Goku or just a standalone MUI Goku. So, you know, anyway, guys, he's a pretty simple card. He does need an upgrade. You know, he's still pretty powerful, but I think clearly, like, he needs an upgrade. So, I decided to use the merged Zamasu as my friend, only because I haven't used him much. So, obviously we know, you know, he gets his transformation, and we're going to talk about him primarily in his transformed version because that's, you know, that's what we use him in. So he's lowering defense on super. He gets, you know, I think it's Key 2, attack 120, reduces damage by 40%. He really shines when he's next to a unit that's providing him defense. So, for instance, the Easy A merge Zamasu on JP is providing 50% defense to Extreme Class Realm of Gods allies. So that's really cool, right? So, you know, if you get him next to Gowasu and Zamasu or any unit that's providing him defense, he really shines with that 40% damage reduction. So, and then, of course, he's got his, you know, his Bukkake form where he's getting 280% attack. Hits like a monster truck, right? So, I think the last unit, I don't think we've gone over Fizz Vegeta. He's a unit I've gone over time and time again. So, essentially, you know, he changes a little bit as we go. But he actually has a nuking type passive. And he stacks attack and defense up until he turns blue. So, this is, of course, important in this event. And then he's got type advantage in the very last round. So when he's in blue form, he is absolutely just godly. So he's got Warrior Gods and Godly Power, which is huge, right? Those are two big attack links, plus obviously Fierce Battle, Super Saiyan, etc. He is a prepared for battle unit, which, you know, is what it is. He'll link up well with, you know, other prepared for battle units, but he's not going to link up well with God units because they're mostly over in a Flash units, you know, except for like Evolution Blue Vegeta or something, but that was the W indeed, guys. This team, I mean, they probably made it look easier than it is, but if you have anything close to this, you're going to do fine. But slap a like on the video, consider subscribing if you are new, and I will catch all of you in the next one. Thank you for all of your support. Later.